Uh, I, on behalf of GIS, welcome you all. Hi, Nirasa, welcome you all. And on 10th year and most outful talk after the innovation is alive, 13th session. The series is well received by students, academicians, and industrial peoples. Also, we know the GIS working towards the inculcating the culture of the innovation in Gujarat, and with GIS Foundation, we are ready to set go pan India. There are 3.3 like-minded people are there who is joining this movement, and this is powered by Wellspan Group. And today we are fortunate that Piyush is with us from the Wellspan Group. That's amazing thing. And this series is also supported by the movement partners. That is Gujarat State Plastic Manufacturers Association, ASIA IT Association, Gujarat Dye Stuff Manufacturer Association, Gujarat Chemical Association, Gujarat Pharmaceutical Association, Indian Drug Manufacturer Association, GUSEC, PDPU IIC, Ganpat University Incubation Center, Computer Society of India, iHub. That is Government of Gujarat initiative. Yeah. Now coming to our speaker today, Mr. Piyush Rajiv Ajwaniji. He is SVP and Global Chief Digital Officer of Wellspan India, a business leader with a proven record of building world-class technology and analytics teams to deliver business impact. In his role, he is responsible for digital and enablement and transformation of Wellspan textile companies and subsidiaries across the globe. We can say he's the man who has converted Wellspan into Wellspan Group. We can say that's how he digitalized and marketize the things. Yeah. He is also spreadable critical initiatives such as Digital Customer Connect, robotic process automation, e-commerce, supply chain, Industry 4.0, and real-time business analytics. Piyush holds BE degree, MBA degree. Apart from that, he is an executive development program. He has done executive development program in advanced analytics from IIM Ahmedabad. In a career spanning almost 2 decades, he has worked with leading organizations across the sector, including Infosys, Tata Motors, Mahindra & Mahindra, and Tata Technologies. Piyush built the data science and analytical team at Tata Motors and Mahindra & Mahindra, two of the largest automotive brands in India, from scratch. His efforts and expertise were integral to the latter recognized as the best amongst the peer within the Indian automotive industry in terms of advanced analytical maturity, adoption, and penetration. In 2019, Piyush ventured into the startup domain with the Square Panda, an AI-based language and reading skill acquisition platform for the children. At the organization, he led to the global analyticals and insight team that helped building great literacy products for kids, a robust AI framework. He has joined Wellspan in August 2020 to accelerate the organization in digital transformation across the board. Apart from his professional accomplishment, Piyush has several personal accolades, leading him as one of the top 10 tech executives in the countries. Sorry for that. He has been recognized as one of the top 50 analytics leaders in India for 2 consecutive years by Analytical Indian magazine at the Machine Conference. Piyush also joined a global panel of MIT Technology, a review for artificial intelligence. So our team member has to be happy. GIS is very much happy that somebody from the AI, as well as from robotics, as well as from the digital media, and in the so many areas, he is there. Piyush, we welcome you on the platform of GIS. Thank you very much for coming and inspiring us. Yeah, please.
Yeah, thank you, Neeraj. Thank you, Neeraj, and everybody from the GIS platform to give me this opportunity to be here and talk to everybody. I'm so happy and glad to be here with everybody right now. Thank you so much. So shall we start the session, Neeraj bhai?
Yeah, Piyush, might be some many events going on, so many replies are coming, and we are joining or we are on the way and something like that. But we will start, and we would like to be. I am the very much keen to see your things because I am in the robotics and auto AI only. So I would love to see everything from you. That's fair.
Okay, great. So again, good afternoon. I think it's Saturday, late afternoon session after lunch. But it's good to be back here in Bombay. And I'm sure everybody is safe with their families back home. I think, we all talk about COVID, but I think luckily in last few months, things are getting better. We are going back to offices. Our offices have also started. So it's great to meet everybody here. So as per the today's topic, as it was told to me, it's all about innovation in life. And I think the last 2 years, I would imagine that for each one of us, it has been a game-changing 2 years in terms of how life has changed around us. We all have also seen, a lot of fatalities with our loved ones, near ones. I also lost my father because of COVID last year. And but life moves on. And I think in terms of context of innovation, I think life has really changed. Nobody imagined that, children can study from home, doing online classes. The way we all started working from home, the way we all got used to this life, being at home, still living it, and still being connected with the outer world, with our friends, and especially this platform Zoom itself. I think this has just come up so much in the whole COVID time. So the innovation is life, and I think the last 2 years are the testimony that how our lives have been changed. And as you would have listened from a background of technology, analytics, AI, digital. So my presentation today and what I'm going to just talk about is that how the whole industry has changed, how the lives around us have changed over a period of time, and where we are today, and what we can expect as we go in the future. I'll also give some examples of what we have seen things around us, how they're changing. And I'll also cover a little bit of things that we at Wellspun are also doing in terms of using multiple new innovation techniques in the form of artificial intelligence, digital, robotics, AI, customer centricity, so on and so forth. So if I start the whole paradigm, what we talk about industrial revolution, right? So we know that the 19th century was all about industrial revolution. The machines came in, heavy machines. The textile, I think, was one of the first industries which really started the industrial revolution. And so glad to be part of this whole industry, and Gujarat being leading it from the front for India. So that is a whole industrial wave that we all witnessed. And that's how it started, the whole big factories, the scale up of machines coming in, people going to factories working. It was all about production, making products, and making products at scale. While 19th century was all about that, 20th century was the time, especially towards the end of the 20th century, in the late 90s, 80s, when the whole IT revolution started. We all would have seen in our careers that how the IT companies came up. India became a very big hub in terms of revolutionizing IT globally, and big companies like SAP and all products came into the picture, and the machines were basically now being more controlled through IT computers, and a lot of manual work which we used to do also started to get converted by IT, the tech. And I think that was the first time when apart from our normal lives, we started having a feel that things are changing. There is some innovation happening. When the laptops, the computers came in, the desktop came in, then the internet came in. So that's how life started changing. So if you go back 20 years back, I remember when we got our first desktops, we were so excited. We got cable TV coming in India. We were so excited. We got this broadband, which we used to connect at just, normally 30 or 50 Mbps kind of speeds, which was also very high at that point of time. And then we started to getting used to the whole culture of IT, the technology. But I think that was just a start, because still a lot of us, I would say it was only the working population which got impacted in their life when they started, and only a certain sector, because it was expensive. Not everybody could afford, laptops, desktops, things like that. But I think the whole game-changing things which happened was especially in the 21st century, when the digital revolution started with the phones, right? So when the whole mobile phones came in, of course, the initial 10 years from 2000, I would say late 1990s till 2010, it was all about mobile phones. But it was companies like Apple which really started the whole innovation by bringing smart screens, right? So we remember Apple launching the phones, and after that, the screen phones where there is no keypads became so common, and then so many companies, they just moved on, and we'll talk about that. But I would say, if you see in last 10 years, life has changed. And the key reason for us in India, life has changed, is because we are more connected. And what we see around us, a lot of these startups, which you see like Zomato's, Nykaa and all, which are listing at obnoxious, I would say, valuations at the stock exchange. A lot of these startups they have actually gone into the market and acknowledged that we are there because of, companies, telecom companies like Airtel or Jio, who has really revolutionized the data, right? So I think this data, the connectivity, getting the mobile phones in our hand, and not only in our hand, our population, everybody is now on smartphones connected with, thanks to Jios of the world, where the data has become so cheap that today in India, we have got the cheapest data in the world, and that has really got us all connected. And I think this has really changed the life. This has really brought in a lot of innovation in our lives lately. And that is how it is touching us from all the aspects. So now we are just living the era of digital transformation. While a lot of people talk about digital transformation in the context of companies, that how companies are changing and adopting digital technologies and practices, I think more than that, in our lives also, the whole digital transformation is going on. The way we are now used to order food online, buy groceries online, watch all these televisions. I don't think most of us now really get into Tata Skies and all. We just get into platforms like Amazon Prime Video, Hotstar, Netflix to watch the videos, or YouTube to watch the content. Social connectivity platforms like Facebook and Instagram, we are all connected with each other. So every day, there's so many things which are not there at all in last 10 years back that we are so dependent on. And I think that's how the innovation has really led to a lot of these startups, the companies to come and innovate the way we live our lives, right? So this is the whole era of the digital transformation that we are living in. I was talking about mobile phones, right? And I think a lot of us can remember, if we start from the left-hand side, I think that was a time when in 90s, when the mobile phones came in, especially led by the wave of Nokia and Motorola, all these models which are quite there. But as you move towards the right, and especially when iPhone came in, it just revolutionized the entire thing. And what actually happened after that? Some of the companies did not change themselves at that pace, like Nokia. And we know what is Nokia today. There's nothing. Nokia went off from somebody who was touching our lives. Even they innovated so much, but they could not keep up with the pace of innovation, and they perished. 2005, we could see pictures like this, people moving around. And 2013 onwards, when the whole mobile thing came in, this is everywhere. Wherever you go, wherever you travel, you'll see just people looking on their phones now. All of us, right? So we are like so used to it. We can't live without our phones. Our life is so much dependent on the phones now. So what is innovation? So innovation, of course, when we talk about it, it can be in multiple contexts, multiple things. But what I mean is, when we talk about innovation, of course, it's a new idea, something new, and that new idea can be a process, or you can change the way you lead your life, the way you work from a process perspective, how you can bring technology. But what is the purpose of innovation? I think at the end of the day, everything what we call innovation is there to solve a problem in our life or to make our life more simple. So when we talk about problems, there were a lot of problems in terms of, let's say, travel. So when you used to travel, there used to be travel agents, you used to talk to them. But today you got platforms like Make My Trip, Clear Trip. You can just go and book your travel. Hotels, we were all looking forward to how to book hotels. So, but then there were people who were looking at much more better options. And that is where things, platforms like Oyo came in, which just changed the life, the way we book our travel, the way we book our hotels, or Airbnb. If you would have heard, this is the app where you can just go anywhere in the globe, you can rent a house. So basically, if you have a nice house, you can rent it out and people can come and stay at your house and you can still earn from it. And that too whenever you want. Similarly, taxis, right? They were all replaced by, we know taxis today redundant, right? So we hardly go and catch a taxi on the road. Of course, cities like Bombay, we still do, but now it's all about the world of Uber and Ola. That's what we talk about. Let's get an Uber, let's get an Ola, right? So it simplified our life, right? The way we would have stood in the queues to deposit our water bill, electricity bills many years back, it all changed. Now we just pay them online, right? So the whole innovation is actually changing the way we live our life. And the companies have to really adopt to that pace. If they don't adopt, it makes them perished. We have seen Kodak once upon a time when we used to have our cameras, and today, of course, the phone act like a camera for a lot of us, but we used to go and buy Kodak reels, prints and everything. But today that has gone because they did not innovate. Sony's and so many of the other players, they came up with the smart cameras with the SD cards into it, the digital cameras, which completely perished Kodak, right? When we look at cars, what we drive today, we are seeing that happening right now. While Tesla came in, it disrupted the entire automotive industry. We were still thinking 1 or 2 years back that, do we really think electric cars are the future? But today, if you see, every company is following Tesla. All the big companies, whether it is Volkswagen, Toyota, GM, Ford, Nissan, even in India, Tata Motors, right? So just following and just kind of converting the entire energy from internal combustion engines to electric vehicles. And that's the future. Maybe 5 years from now, our next car will be an electric car for sure, right? That's going to happen in 5 or 10 years from now. This will all go away, the whole engines, right? Only their use might be in the commercial vehicles or tractors, but for the private vehicles, it might be just 100% electric. Ola scooters, they have just come in. We never imagined you can buy a scooter in 80,000-90,000, fully electric scooter, which is a connected scooter. You have a screen where you are completely connected, and they are making at a capacity of around 10 to 15,000 scooters a day. And they have the largest two-wheeler plant here in India, from where they want to make the biggest electric scooter factory, and they want to be Tesla for the two-wheelers, right? So that's happening in India. And I think that's something which we should be very proud of, because whatever we are looking at, these ideas, processes, technologies, innovation, the way it is impacting our lives, a lot of it is homegrown. It's through startups, Paytm, right? So if you go into any other country, and I'm sure all of us travel, of course, we talk about US, which is so much ahead. And or we talk about China. I've been in China, I lived in China, but I can tell you, apart from US, China and India, there are countries, every country has to catch up so much upon the digital revolution. I think the way we have caught up and the way we are almost there leading along with big countries like US and China is phenomenal. And the reason is being the whole thing that today we are connected on mobile phones. And we are the only country in the world where the penetration of internet through the mobile phone into the percentage of the population is already right around 70%. And that's the highest in the world. We are growing at the fastest pace. And there's so much which is going to happen in the near future. So there are other examples also. We know companies like Yahoo, which started things like searches, but many years back, 15, 20 years back, Google came in and we all have to search something. We go on Google because Yahoo did not innovate. Similarly, Nokia, they did not innovate the phones, and Apple took over. And after Apple, of course, we know Samsung, right? So today, if you go into the markets, it's Apple, Samsung, or all the Chinese brands. So they are kind of just leading the entire smartphone. All the old timers like Nokia, Motorola, Siemens, they're all gone off the shelf. So even the companies have to innovate at the right pace. I think that is a key message of the slide. If you innovate, but you do not keep innovating, it will also make issues. I was telling about a lot of these unicorns. I think, again, something which we all have been reading, that this year is the only year. I was reading last week that we already have 40 companies, 40 startups, which have touched the valuation of $1 billion in India this year itself. That's like, 40 of them, which are like valued more than $1 billion. All of them have become unicorns in this year itself. And if you see a lot of these sites, which, the logos are there, we are using them, like we are so much dependent on them. And this is the way our life has changed because of the way these companies have come and innovated everything, the way we do things, the way we eat, the way we pay, the way we consume services, the way we order our food, the way we order our clothes, apparels, cosmetics, the way we look at our insurance policies, the way we look at services, the way we look at payment gateways, the way we want to play, right? The way we want to learn. Byju's, the world's largest startup right now in terms of the education, almost $60 million, completely changed the way we look at things. Coming to a little bit on the corporate side, because that's the life that we lead, I think the same impact is also happening in the companies. So Tesla, I think right now, if you ask me, that is one company which has really innovated the way a production should happen in the factory, right? So they are the best in the world. The way they have innovated their factories, it's all digital factories. I remember reading an article where they launched in Shanghai in China to build their factory, and they built the factory in just 1 year, and everything is connected, all automated, hardly very few people who are doing it, and they can bring you so much of configuration. And it's not only the factory, even the cars that they make, it's all connected cars. Today, cars are supercomputers, right? They run like computers, and their cars are like, you just sit, it's like a computer cockpit, you put where you want to go. And especially in US, I've experienced it. You don't even have to drive the car. They will take you wherever you want to go, right? So that's the power of innovation, the way it is going to impact our lives in the coming days and years. When we talk about what are these technologies, if you just kind of look from a perspective of companies, that what are these technologies which are really changing the way the innovation is happening in the companies, few of them are listed here. I think data is a very important thing. The way cloud computing has come, we can put a lot of data on the cloud, which was not possible earlier. We used to have these big servers and all that. That has really changed the way we look at things. All the startups are running on cloud ecosystem, whether it is from Google, Amazon, or Microsoft. Robotics, a lot of manual things are going away. Robots are coming in. We have seen about drones. In India, the drone adoption was very poor because there was no policy. Government has recently released a policy. I think this is going to really take, especially in the agriculture technology area, us to the next level. Sensors, right? The digital communication, how we are connecting our machines, the whole industry 4.0, the way we talk about how our machines are getting connected, how we're getting the data from there. Then we are looking at networking, the mobile telephony, the virtual reality, and especially the Web 2.0. Today, the brands, there's so many brands which are just digital brands. They don't sell in the offline store. You can only buy them online, right? So they're just coming, they're selling through all the platforms like Amazon, Flipkart, Facebook, Google, so on and so forth. And then finally, there are things like AI, which is really making a difference, 3D printers, which are coming in. So there's so much happening in the industrial side, and there's so much still needs to be done, especially I would say, while our personal lives are impacted by startups, I think there's so much on the business side that still has to come. Virtual reality, just some examples that, you can just go into this virtual reality pads. You can actually experience the whole augmented reality that you are in that, space. And I think the very recent example is a couple of weeks back when Facebook now changed their name into Meta. So Mark Zuckerberg, who is the founder of Facebook, he's talking about metaverse. He's saying there is a universe and there's a metaverse. Metaverse is all virtual world. So you're going to see even Facebook evolve our experiences. The future will be, while there is us in real, in our physical life, we'll also have a counterpart of us, our alter ego or our kind of a clone in the virtual life. And they are going to create virtual lives where we're going to lead virtual lives. So this is also very hypothetical, but a lot of things will change in the next 5 or 10 years, where we'll live one life in the physical world and one life will be in the virtual world. So I think we should look out for that, how things will change. While all these things happening, I think we have to also look at what is the impact of innovation. There are different types of innovations. Some of them are very disruptive innovations, which really changes the market, like electric cars, right? And then there are different types of innovation. Like, for example, there's a radical innovation like Ola's and Uber's coming in, creating new markets. Then there are some incremental innovation, and incremental innovations is something which we see how brands are selling. Today, if you want to buy brands, they used to be, you need to go to a store, but everybody is selling now on digital platforms, right? We at Welspun also, today we sell our towels, bed sheets and all in US, UK markets on digital channels, like on our own websites, on our own, places like Amazon. We don't have any physical presence now in markets like US and UK. We just are completely a digital brand who's selling on digital platforms and getting the customers. So that's very different. We couldn't have imagined to be in the market to launch products in a very digital way. That's what we're doing today. Of course, we talked about some examples. As I was saying, that Uber is an example of radical innovation, while incremental innovation is something we see from products like Gmail or search. We don't know what is happening on the background, but if you see, Google search is becoming more and more powerful. When you talk about Gmail, all of us has got a Gmail ID because most of us are on Android phones. And as we are on Gmail and on Android phone, so we are automatically linked to Google Pay. So while there were times when people used to talk about Paytm, but now we all say, okay, you can do me a Google Pay, but Google Pay kar do, because all of us are already connected to Google Pay. So that's an incremental innovation. So while Paytm was there in the market, Google came in, they used the power of Android, their own platform, brought Google Pay, and now all of us are moving to Google Pay beyond the normal services of Google. Then these are some examples of the companies, how they're adopting multiple things. Like we talk about toy companies like Lego. It's almost, I think, 100-year-old company. We have seen Lego as children. But today, if you look at Lego, it's a completely digitally transformed company. They basically make theme products, theme toys. So it's still so relevant today, even after all these years. So that's the innovation what they have done, right? Then we talked about manufacturing techniques. A lot of these sustainability manufacturing techniques are coming in. People are getting more and more cautious about the impact on the environment. Already companies like New Balance, which is into shoes, Adidas, Nike, they are making their shoes not from pure plastic, but also from the recycled plastic and waste, which is coming from the sea. So you will see a lot of the products also going to go through a major transformation in the coming years as ESG, environmental, social governance, becomes a very important part of any company strategy. Our companies will focus on sustainability. Even at Welspun, we are so much aligned to the whole ESG objective. We really want to make sure whatever we do sustainably, we source responsibly, we produce responsibly, and there has to be a net neutral carbon effect in the years to come that we are looking forward to, so that we contribute and safeguard our environment. I think this is the outcomes of innovation. We talked about it, that how the economic growth is led, how the future of jobs are becoming more and more relevant. In fact, that's very interesting. People used to, let's talk about analytics, data sciences, automation, robotics, a lot of these new job skills, which became so relevant, and they just started 7-8 years back. Today, they're so important. But again, they are becoming a little bit old now, because a lot of these technologies are coming through softwares themselves. So people have to also upskill. So today in the professional world, if you don't upskill yourself, you will be perished. So the future of the jobs is very much also innovating. So people, all of us needs to keep on learning new techniques, new solutions, how to be relevant in the market. And of course, the whole accessibility, the way technology is accessed is so important. And that has to be also imparted to our employees. So we are also doing multiple programs where we're looking at our associates, how we can train them on Industry 4.0, on multiple techniques, so that they also learn. And apart from the normal lives, they also see that how innovation is changing the whole way we are producing things, and they get aligned to it. This is again a cycle, as we talked about, that when we talk about digital innovation, it starts from a customer experience. Today, if I ask you, most of us will be very comfortable on shopping on Amazon, because we know that while we can buy the same product from 10 other sites, but the kind of power of customer experience and satisfaction Amazon gives us, if there's any problem, you call them up without any question asked, they'll change your product, replace your product, refund your money. Nobody else can do it still till today. Seems very simple, but in actual sense is very, very difficult. And the other important thing is data-driven insights. Today, we are living in a digital world. I know my consumers, I know my customers, I know I have the data. I can do so much on the data, looking at what my customer needs, what kind of a products I need to produce, what are the services I need to do, who are my happy customers, who are my unsatisfied customers, what I need to do to retain my customers. Then at the back end, a lot of the operations are going away from manual activities. It's all about automation. Things like robotic process automations and all are impacting the way we do back-end jobs. No longer, people are expected to do the same thing over and over again on Excel sheets. There is robotic process automation. There is analytical platforms which are giving those data so that people can focus on core value-adding work, right? And all of this together with a lot of technology improvements is making new digital business models, like we talked about, right? How does new models evolve? Like today, we have to order food. We'll order on Swiggy and Zomato. Gone are the days when we'll have pamphlets in our house for 10 different, restaurants nearby where we call and they will send the food. Well, they do today also. But today, in most of the metros and big cities, people are just using, platforms like Swiggy and Zomato to order the food, right? So this is the culmination. And now those apps know what I'm eating. So they know what I like. So they will also give me the recommendations based on the data-driven insights. That as a consumer, if I like Chinese food, they'll keep on recommending me the new Chinese restaurants nearby, the offers going on, the kind of a food and cuisines I should try. So this is how the whole innovation is happening in the sphere of personal influence. I'll just quickly go through what we're doing at Welspun. I'll just cover up a few things on what we're doing at Welspun. So Welspun, if you see, we are looking from a perspective of three main things where we are using innovation to digitally transform ourselves. One is on the product management side. Basically, how do we really design so many products that we have in the space of beddings, bath, rugs. So we have a PLM software there called as B-Product. So our entire design processes are all digitized now. Then we also look at supply chain, which is a very important thing for us because the way we plan for our customers who are predominantly export-oriented customers in US and UK. So the planning starts much 6-7 months in advance. So how do we really plan them? So there's a lot of planning softwares that we have implemented, and not only planning. In fact, when we also procure from suppliers, we're also going to implement very soon new products like iValue and all to further digitize our supplier processes of procurement. We're also tracking from a warehouse management perspective. When we ship our goods from containers to US and all, we have enabled the entire outbound process digitization. We can track containers. We know which containers is reaching at what time. If they're getting delayed, we can take actions. While this is happening on the core product design and supply chain side, we are also doing a lot of things on customer facing things because predominantly Welspun so far has been a B2B company. We are transforming ourselves to be B2C company. As I was saying, that we are selling our products in US and UK directly on our websites and marketplaces like we call like Amazon, Wayfair, Walmart, so on and so forth. So we are also looking at how do we really enhance our customer experience when we sell products. So even if you see today our website in India, like spaces.in, we are consistently changing the way our customer experience is there. When you go search for our products, place the orders, we are looking at measuring the productivity of our machines, how we're looking at efficiency of our machines. And finally, we are also looking at some artificial intelligence use cases. So just to give you a perspective, in Welspun, we have recently implemented a product by the name of Attendra, which is basically for our utility monitoring, especially gas, water, electricity, steam. So all the machines in our processing house are connected. On a real-time basis, we can understand which machine is going on, what is the kind of a steam it is consuming, what is the water it is consuming, is it set at the right temperature? If there are any deviation from the targets, we are able to easily identify and take a corrective action. So this has really helped us to save crores in terms of the water, steam, electricity cost that we are paying, to be more fundamentally more be efficient on the things. I was telling you about spinning and weaving. While processing and digitized through this Attendra, we have products like Pinter in spinning, Datalog in weaving, from where we are getting a lot of this data into our Power BI, which is our analytics platform, where we are again doing a real-time monitoring in terms of the efficiency, productivity, downtime, stoppages, reasons for stoppages of the machines, and taking corrective actions. So a lot of this data is now all real-time available. We talk about artificial intelligence. So this is interesting if you see. So now we have started to see that how we can use artificial intelligence in the plant. So one of the stages is when we issue the grage products, which is basically the rolls of the towels for our customers to cut and sew. So there used to be a manual counting of how many towels are there if this is a grage. So now we've got this artificial intelligence-based vision cameras, which is working on algorithms, which can actually count the towels as it run. So if you see the towels are running and the algorithm is actually counting the towels. And this accuracy is basically, like you can see 402 towels counted. It is up to 99.5%, right? So there is no need of manual intervention because the algorithms, the artificial intelligence algorithms can themselves calculate the right amount or the count of the towels that we need to issue for customers for the cut and sew section. We talk about smart factories in multiple areas in the whole factory, like shade variation analysis, fabric inspection systems. We have got now digital technologies which are helping us to automate, not only in terms of looking at the quality aspects of it, but even if you see the whole traceability, we have a very strong WellTrack as a traceability system which tracks each and every process right from the cotton bale when we get it from our ginners to the final product, right? So all those barcode scanners are there. We've also started during the COVID time, the live inspection rooms for our customers to do live inspection. So you can see in this room, there are cameras, there are TVs, and our teams are doing actually the live virtual inspection and the quality along with our customers on a real-time basis. Then we are stressing a lot on automation. You can see a lot of these small interventions like automatic polypack packing machines, carton packing machines. We're also trying to see the pallet shrink wrapper conveyors, how we can make it more and more automated so that our productivity goes up, our manpower is more and more optimized, and our throughput goes up a lot. So these are some examples, and I think still we need to do a lot, but we have started, as I told you, from a Welspun perspective in multiple areas. The whole vision that we have is to digitize our processes, to get as much as data we can, and based on the data, how we can take good decisions to make sure that our quality is world-class, our productivity is world-class, and even our employees, we give them a lot of this knowledge and skills so they can give us more and more better output. And for them also, they also innovate their lives with our help. So I think with that, I would like to close the session. Thank you so much. More than happy to take any questions if there are any.
Piyushji, thank you very much for giving insight with real examples, because you share some of the your real Wellspan technologies that use in your factories, and that is we so many times we heard about the industry 9.0 sorry 4.0 with 9 pillars, and you explain it very well in the real form. Apart from that, you added the value by putting real your examples, so that makes more interactive session and added value. We had a capsule talk, so we had already take too much time, so we are not further going for the questions as of now. But Tuesday, we would like to visit, or we have to understand your technological part with our teams. Few of 15 or 16, we are keen interested, and we are working on robotics and AI and industry 4.0. So we will take a permission from you, and we will visit someday at Wellspan. Yeah, that's a great visionary eyes for us also.
No, absolutely. More than happy to welcome you all, meet you all at our plants. Let us know, and we can arrange a visit. Typically, I also travel, so more than happy to meet you all in person. So I'm looking forward to it. And thank you, Neeraj Bhai, again, and to the GIS team once again for this opportunity. Very happy to be here in this forum. So thank you so much, everybody.
Yeah, thank you very much, Piyush ji, and thank you everyone to